This happened when I was 17 years old. I would go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week and ride the bus home. One Sunday, I had just missed my bus, so I had to wait longer for another one. I would have called my parents, but they were out for the evening, and taxis charged more, so I decided to sit and wait in the bus shelter. It was a cold night, and snow had just started peppering the ground. My bus was taking longer than usual, so I took out my phone and listened to some music. Almost an hour had passed, and it was freezing. I hadn't seen anyone at all. That was until I noticed something out of the corner of my eye. A creepy guy, dressed in thick layers of clothing, was walking slowly toward me. I knew staring at him would draw more attention, so I just focused on my phone. He sat down at the other end of the shelter and just stared at me. There was something off about him. He seemed either drunk or on drugs. "Hen," he asked, "when is the bus due?" I took out my earphones and replied, "I think it's delayed because of the snow." He stared at me for a while, then started mumbling to himself. He was really starting to creep me out, so I pretended to be on my phone. After a couple of minutes, I took another look and realized he had moved closer to me. I looked away for a second, then heard the sound of him sliding even closer. Turning to him, I asked, "You okay there?" He stared at me with glossy eyes, lifted his arm, and leaned toward me. Immediately, I grabbed my bag and ran as he fell to the ground. I sprinted down the road, trying my hardest not to look back, and kept going until I reached the next bus stop. When I turned around to check, he was gone, so I sat down, feeling relieved. I rested my head on the back of the glass and waited for the bus. Suddenly, knock 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 knock, I jolted and turned around to see the same guy staring at me through the glass. "What the hell is wrong with you?" I yelled, panicking as he started walking around the shelter toward me. "I'm warning you. Stay back." I wanted to run, but my bag was in the shelter. And I couldn't leave without it. Suddenly, the man leaped at me, and I quickly moved out of the way. He fell face first to the ground. I froze in shock and then noticed blood coming from his face. I tried to get a response out of him, but nothing worked. I called the police and paramedics, who arrived shortly after. I explained what had happened, and they told me the guy was on prescription drugs. They found a photo in his wallet of him and his son. The boy looked just like me. We assumed that he thought I was his son. I later learned that he had lost his son in a custody battle and had gone off the rails. He was taken away for treatment, and that was the last I saw of him. Not long after, I got my driver's license and have never been on a bus since.